Hello ghouls! Welcome to, well, October's Stitch and Scream Along, but more importantly, happy Friday the 13th. We need to have a little chit chat. What are you doing for the day to celebrate? Like, what are all the things? Obviously, we had to get dressed up. Friday the 13th, everything. I had about 5 different outfits that I could pick from, and as I was laying everything out, I was like, wow, Kayla, this is a bit much, but I regret nothing. Every single outfit was super important, and this one just happened to be my favorite. It's like the jersey one from Spirit Halloween, and I go back to that all the time, but tons of tees, tons of, like, I have the camp counselor setup where it's like shorts, t-shirt. It is raining here today though, and like 40 degrees. So shorts and booty shorts nonetheless was a little bit out of the picture for me. For the entirety of the day, I have plans to watch as many of the movies as possible. I did start a little early, like last night at about 11:30. I couldn't wait, so I threw in the very first one and just got rolling into it. I don't know that I'll actually be able to finish all of them. There are so many of them. The one that I have to watch every single year though is the Freddy vs. Jason. That one is just, the campiness on that one is just next level. I mean, all of them are camp. That's kind of like slasher camp. That's what I put them into. But add in Freddy Krueger, it gets wild. If you've never seen it, put that one on your list for today. If that's your plans, throw it to the top, honestly. Anyways, back to the Stitch and Scream. We have a brand new stitch that we're going to be learning, which is the Granny Cluster Stitch. It is a variation of the Granny Stitch. Really, we could do an entire series of just that, like Granny stitches, the variations of them, and how to use them, because this one in particular is really good for blankets because it's a 2-row repeat. So we have the Granny Cluster, and then the second one kind of like borders it, so it really makes it pop a little bit. It's fantastic if you want to use 2 different colors for it. For me, I'm only going to use the one color because that's my Stitch and Scream blanket. I'm just doing red for the squares and then black to seam everything all together and put my border on too, which I still haven't decided what the border is going to be for that, which I need to figure it out pretty soon because it's October. We only have 2 more stitches after this. Even though this is a 2-row repeat, they are both really easy to get into and easy to remember. So after you've done it a couple of times, by the time you're into the middle of your square, and if you've done these stitches before, because it's kind of a combination of stitches, you're gonna fly through it. Any granny stitch I really enjoy. It works up quick and it also adds that texture, and this one's gonna be really soft too compared to some of the other squares that we have because we have that cluster, like an entire row of cluster, then a border, then more cluster. Like it's gonna get really squishy very quickly. We have our sticker for October. Don't forget to print that out. And we have the sheet too. This would be an excellent time if you haven't printed the sheet out yet. Print that out, then grab our sticker for October because we have so many of them. I mean, we have 10 now. And if you want to use this for a little bit of decor in your yarn dungeon for October, it would be perfect. And just kind of like scroll back and see all of the stickers that we had, and or save it. I know a lot of people are doing that as well, saving all of the stickers, which you can find on my blog, which will have everything all together for this entire project. And if you're just joining this month, you can join whenever you want, honestly, and you can pick and choose. Haven't seen some ghouls do that where they've been picking and choosing the stitch that they work up and then doing multiple squares of that stitch, which is fantastic. Like, honestly, make this your blanket how you want it. Like, it wants to work with you. We're not gonna make it difficult and work against you. So if this is not your stitch and you're like, I don't know, I just like can't get into it, don't fight it. Seriously, we have 9 other ones. Go ahead and choose from those. I like all of the stitches that we've done, but obviously I have my favorites. Like, there's ones that I will go back to every single blanket, and unless I force myself to remember some of these other stitches, I probably wouldn't have done them. Now, for the movie that we're going to be watching this month, because it is a Stitch and Scream crochet along, we have two different options. When I broke it down for the movies that were based on Halloween nights, because since it is Halloween month, the spookiest month of all, I just felt like that was the right direction to go. But even with that, narrowing it down, it was still a very long list. So we have two different options, one of which is an actual scary horror movie, and the second option is a spoopy option. So if you want to come and work on your square, but you're not really so much into horror movies, we got an extra option for you this month. The first option is All Hallows Eve, which both of these can be found on Shudder, which is a streaming platform of horror movies. It ranges from everything. We have classic horror movies, we have brand new exclusive to Shudder horror movies that come out. A lot of them come out on Fridays. So especially during October, make sure you have like the app on your phone. I have the notifications turned on for this entire month. Really, it turned on, I don't know, probably about April is when I turned it on, because they really started to crank things out halfway to Halloween. But anyways, if you haven't tried it out, they do a free trial. I think it's an entire week. You can check it out. All Hallows Eve, we are introduced to Art the Clown. And if that is kind of ringing familiar to you, Art the Clown is in Terrifier, the movie, well, movies. There are a couple of movies now. If that is not your thing, I mean, they're very similar in feel and vibe. So if that's not your thing, you know, make sure you watch the trailer for All Hallows Eve to get the feel of it and see if you want to watch that one with us. Otherwise, our second option is Spirit Halloween the movie. Okay, I was incredibly excited when this one came out last year because I knew that it wasn't going to be scary, and like that's not what the movie is supposed to be. It's another one that is crazy campy, but they know that it's campy because it's Spirit Halloween. It is about getting locked inside a Spirit Halloween on Halloween nights, and just like, you know, spooky stuff starts happening, which who would not want that? So the premise of it is super kitschy, super cute. The other thing that is really fun about this movie is that the nostalgia from it is just gonna keep growing every single year, because even rewatching it this year, you see the animatronics that become possessed, which is not a spoiler to it because you can see that in the trailer. You see the animatronics come to life and everything. But anyways, the animatronics that they have there, like obviously it changes every year, right? So some of them are not even prominent animatronics anymore. As it continues to age as a movie, I just feel like the nostalgia is going to become stronger and stronger. So for me personally, I really, really loved this movie. It's another one that I like to have just on the background. It's great if you're going to be hanging out with me during the Stitch and Scream Live and you're with family or kids. This is a perfect movie. Like, it really is. I had fun with it anyways, but as always, make sure you do watch the trailer, feel out the movie, the vibes, if it's something that you're into, and hopefully out of the two, there's one that you're excited about, and you'll join me again, October 23rd, Monday, October 23rd, back here in the Yarn Dungeon at 6 p.m. Central. I think that's pretty much it. We have the sticker, the movie, the stitch, and anything else that you need to kind of brush up on, you can find that on my blog for this month. Each square, the sizing, the yardage that I'm using for it, the yarn, the hook size, everything like that. But as always, if you made this project your own and you're using different yarn, using a different hook, that's fantastic. I love that. You can go ahead and shout out in the comments down below of the yarn that you're using. I would love to know. I've been seeing a ton of pictures of the combination of yarn colors and yarn weight. That has been really interesting to see ghouls using different yarn weights for each square. Thank you for tagging me in those. I seriously appreciate it. It's really made this entire crochet along super, super fun and incredibly enjoyable for me. So again, thank you for joining this. Have a fun time stitching up the Granny Cluster Stitch for October. I hope to see you back Monday, October 23rd, 6 p.m. Central, here in the Yarn Dungeon. Enjoy the rest of your Friday the 13th, and I will see you all very soon.